Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks, and welcome to part 2 of my Madrid video series. In the first video I spoke about why Madrid is one of the best cities in Spain, if not the best city in Spain, and today I'm going to put an argument forward as to why Madrid is the worst city in Spain, or one of the worst cities in this country. So let's get stuck into that. Now, in the first video that I recorded about Madrid a couple of months ago, I spoke about all of the positive aspects of this city, and I'm going to be upfront with you guys. This is a city that I love some days, and this is a city that I absolutely hate on other days, and I think that's true when it comes to most big cities. And that's one thing about Madrid, is that it is the biggest city in Spain, and that is also the worst thing about the country, because what that means, and it's common with a lot of cities around the world, big cities around the world, is that this city just keeps on growing. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. More and more people come to live in this city because it is a city of opportunity. It's a city where things happen in Spain. Let's say it's the equivalent of London in the United Kingdom. It's the equivalent of New York in the States and other big European capitals. It's where things happen, and that's why people want to live here. But what that means is that every year, as I said, the city gets busier and busier, and that affects people's quality of life because there's more people, there's more traffic, and there's more things that get in your way. So that's disadvantage, or con number one about this city, in my opinion. And what it also means is that because Madrid is such a big city, it has lots of big city issues. For example, crime. And another factor of Madrid when it comes to crime, so many tourists coming to Madrid nowadays, and crime follows tourists, unfortunately. Now, another aspect of Madrid is that it's the capital city of the country, and that means that it also has capital city problems. For example, all of the government buildings are in this city, both at a national level and also at an autonomous community level, because as we know, Spain, 17 autonomous communities. That means that every autonomous community has its government. So we've got double the problem here. We've got the national government set up here and also the regional government too. And that means that there are public buildings everywhere, government buildings everywhere, ministries up and down this main street here, which is the Castellana Street. And the downside of having all of these public buildings here is that protests come to this city. If anybody has a complaint here in Spain and they want to protest about something, they come to Madrid. And that often means that the city is shut down, or parts of the city is shut down because of a protest. And that, in my opinion, is a definite con of this city. The public buildings and all of the government buildings, unfortunately. Now, I'm currently walking through one of the most expensive parts of Madrid. Real estate prices here very, very high, not to mention the price of other things like restaurants and bars in this area as well, also very expensive. And that's one of the things that I'm going to point out. Another con, in my opinion, is the cost of living in this city. Now, although this is one of the most expensive areas, you can find cheaper areas, of course. Just go down to the south of Madrid, it's a lot cheaper, but the cost of living here higher than other cities in Spain, of course, mainly because it is the capital city and so many people are drawn to Madrid for work purposes. So cost of living, another con. And you can tell that this is an upper class neighborhood simply by the people that are walking around it. You don't see people like this in other parts of Madrid except for the exclusive areas. And this supermarket chain that we have in front of us here, Sanchez Romero, possibly the most expensive supermarket chain in this country. In fact, I'm going to go over, have a look in the window and see if we can check out some of the prices. And basically everything in this supermarket has a premium price. For example, the fruit on display, and you'll only find this supermarket in well-to-do neighborhoods. You won't find this supermarket in more rundown areas of the city because people don't want to pay these prices. And you can also see here that they have a lot of international food on offer, lots of international sauces and different types of food because people come here looking for this type of food. But again, you probably have to pay a premium. Even the dogs in this neighborhood are well behaved. They just sit outside the supermarket and wait for their owners. Now, another con or negative aspect of this city is the weather. In Spain, there's an expression, 9 meses de invierno, 3 meses de infierno, which translates to 9 months of winter and 3 months of hell. And in this city, Madrid, you will definitely get that weather pattern. Cold winters, although I must say in recent years the winters haven't been as cold, and very, very hot summers. The months of July and August are terrible here, very dry. It can be windy, a hot, dry wind blowing, and also in August a lot of people leave this city and head to the coast because they don't want to put up with the extreme summer temperatures. So that is also a con about this city. In fact, it's a con of most parts of the Castillas. Castilla-La Mancha, Castilla y León have similar weather patterns. So remember the expression, 9 meses de invierno, 3 meses de infierno. Now here's an example of one of these government buildings that are all over the city, the Hacienda Ministry that I have behind me here. Curious fact, I gave classes in this ministry back in the day, around 10-15 years ago, giving classes in the ministry. In fact, I've given classes in a lot of ministries and public buildings in this city. But as I said, if there's a protest, this whole area here will be cut off for the length of that protest. And it's a pretty important part of the city for traffic. So you've got one ministry over here to my left, and if we walk down here just a little bit further, there's another ministry. We can see down there the civil guard going into his post because the civil guard here in Spain are in charge of security in the government buildings, in the ministries, and we'll see this building here in a moment. I also gave classes in this ministry too. Back in the day it was called the Industry Ministry. Not sure what it's called now. Let's have a look. Well, it's still called the Industry Ministry, but they've also added Commerce and Tourism to the title. So that's a change from when I used to give classes in this building. So 2 ministries here, and on the other side of this road, the Paseo de la Castellana, there's another ministry which is the Defense Ministry. So 3 ministries in the space of about 150 meters. And as I said, that can clog up the city should there be a protest. And let's be honest, here in Spain, there are quite often people protesting. And there in front of me, that monstrosity of a building is the Defense Ministry. Now, I've had a couple of viewers in recent times leave comments in the comment section asking me about internet security and VPNs in particular, and the name of the VPN that I use. Well, the name of the VPN is NordVPN, and the reason I use a VPN is because it keeps me safe when I'm surfing the internet. When I'm out and about doing these videos, going to different cities, traveling around Spain, using public Wi-Fi, NordVPN comes in very handy indeed, because as I said, it protects you when you surf the internet and it protects your data. And it's also very good when it comes to content, international content, content that might be geo-blocked here in Spain. If you want to watch BBC iPlayer, for example, NordVPN can get you around that. You can connect to a British internet server and then connect to BBC iPlayer. In fact, I do it all the time to watch series that I can't normally watch here in Spain. So I definitely recommend NordVPN. And Nord currently have a special offer when you get a 2-year plan. Not only do you get a huge discount, but they'll also throw in 4 months extra for absolutely nothing. And remember that Nord also has a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Click the link below and join NordVPN today and browse the internet securely. Now, another con about this city is the lack of green spaces. I said in the previous video that the parks here in Madrid are fantastic. Yes, they are. If you can find a park, they can be fantastic. The Retiro Park, the West Park, all of the big parks in Madrid are fantastic, but they're far and few between. And there are lots of neighborhoods here that don't have a lot of green spaces, especially in the center of the city. And even in this area here, even though there's a bit of grass around the place, there aren't a lot of green spaces to take the kids, to go out with the family, to ride your bike. Very, very difficult to do in this city. This is a car dominated city. Cars are king in this city, common in a lot of Spanish cities, unfortunately, that cars are still king, and all of the infrastructure in this city is catered to cars. Okay, over the last 5 to 10 years, bicycle lanes have popped up around the place, but still very dangerous to ride your bike in Madrid, in my opinion, because, as I said, cars absolutely dominate. And that leads me to another negative aspect of Madrid, which is air quality. In fact, a lot of the big cities here in Spain struggle with air quality or air pollution, obviously because of the amount of cars that are circulating or driving around their city at any given time. In fact, Madrid is basically a 24-hour city, especially at weekends, and there are traffic jams even sometimes at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on some of the main roads, for example, the Gran Via bang smack in the centre. The European Union has warned Spain about the air quality in big Spanish cities on numerous occasions, and in recent years they've tried to fix the problem, but it is still a very polluted city when it comes to air quality, in my opinion. And in the winter months, when the wind doesn't blow, the smog issues here are terrible, as any Madrid resident will tell you. So although they're trying to fix the problem, it is still an issue. And it also creates allergies. I have terrible allergies here in Madrid, problems that I never had before I came to live in this city. So I think the pollution issues here in Madrid are one of the reasons for my bad allergies, and all of the different types of plants that are planted in this city and trees also can trigger your allergies. So keep that in mind as well. Now behind me is either a pro or a con of the city, depending on which football team you support here in Spain. If you support Real Madrid, this stadium behind me is probably your favourite place. But if you support another team here in Madrid, for example, Atlético de Madrid, you probably hate this stadium, which, as we can see, is getting renovated. So we'll see what it looks like when it finishes, but big renovation works going on at the Real Madrid stadium, the Santiago Bernabéu. And an interesting fact about this stadium is that it's now one of the #1 tourist destinations in Madrid. Tourists from all over the world flock here to visit the trophy room, to have a tour of the stadium, and as I said, very, very popular with international and also local Real Madrid fans. Now, another negative aspect of this city, in my opinion, is where it's located, bang smack in the middle of the country. Now, I said in my previous Madrid video that that's an advantage because all roads lead to Madrid and it's really easy to get anywhere from this city, but it's also a con because you are a long way away from the coast. And a guy like me who grew up on the coast all my life, in fact, I love spending time on the coast, very, very difficult to live in this landlocked city because you're about 3.5 hours away by car to the nearest beach. There are some public transport options. You can get fast trains to Valencia nowadays, so you can get there probably in a couple of hours, but still a long way to go for a swim in the sea. So Madrid's location, while it can be a pro for some things, it can be a fairly big con too, in my opinion. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about today, and another one of the cons, well, it's a pro or a con depending on which side of politics you sit, is that Madrid is a very conservative city. In fact, the Partido Popular has been in power in this city for a long time. In fact, in the 25 years or so that I have been living in Madrid, only once has the government changed, and that was a few years ago. The city swung to the left, but now it has swung back to the right. And also when it comes to the autonomous community in the Madrid region, it is PP dominated. And it can be a problem, especially if the central government is on the opposite side of politics, which is the situation we've had for the last 4 or 5 years. The central government and Madrid do not get along, so politics can be a bit of a con. And as I said, quite a conservative city is Madrid, and they don't like problems. They don't like what happens in other parts of the country. They don't like people talking about separating from Spain. They don't like what's going on in other parts of the country where this talk can be heard. So as I said, politics can be a pro or a con depending on what side of the political fence you sit. Now on that note, I'm going to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. If you know this city, Madrid, let me know what you think of some of the things that I have mentioned in the video today. If you're planning on coming to live in this city, also let me know. If you're planning to come here to visit as a tourist, also let me know. And what I will say is that for the tourist, this is a great city. 3, 4, 5 days max, but to live here can be a bit stressful, and I think that the cons do outweigh the pros, at least for somebody my age that is. So as I said, comments in the section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego from Madrid.